Hello, and welcome to this English learning video. Today, you will practice English speaking with a powerful method. This method is called shadowing. Shadowing means you listen first, then you speak right after. You copy the words. You copy the sound. You copy the feeling. This helps your pronunciation. This helps your listening. And this helps your confidence. Now, let's start the story. How a man lost everything, then built Amazon. Most people today use Amazon like it's just part of life. You open your phone, order something random, and keep it moving. 2 days later, it's on your doorstep, like magic. But the story behind all that? It's way less magic, and way more stress, risk, and staying stubborn. This is about Jeff Bezos, the guy who started it. And yeah, people talk about him like he was always destined to win. He wasn't. Not even close. Back in the early 90s, he had a serious job in finance. He worked at a hedge fund called D.E. Shaw in New York. Good pay, smart people, real status. The kind of job that makes your family relax a little, like, okay, he's good. Now picture this. You're in New York, you've got a stable career, and your life looks set. Then you look at this new thing called the internet, and you can't stop thinking about it. He noticed that internet use was growing like crazy, year after year. Not a little. Like, this is going to change everything kind of growth. And he started asking himself one question that sounds simple, but hits hard. If I don't try this, will I regret it? That question messes with you. Because regret is quiet, but it follows you. And he decided he'd rather risk failing than live with that what if. So, in 1994, he quit his job. That's the part people skip over. Quitting a good job is not inspirational in the moment. It's scary. It's awkward. It's like telling your friends you're leaving a good life for a weird idea. And the idea was this: an online store. Not clothes, not electronics. Books. Books sound boring, right? But that was the point. There were millions of book titles. No physical bookstore could ever carry them all. Online, you could. He and his wife packed up and drove from New York to Seattle. And that drive mattered, because it wasn't just a move. It was him committing. No turning back. Seattle wasn't chosen because it was trendy. It was practical. It had tech talent, and it was close to big book distributors. He wasn't trying to look cool. He was trying to build something that could actually work. At first, the company had a different name. He thought of calling it Cadabra, like abracadabra, but it sounded too much like cadaver, which is, not great. So he changed it. He went with Amazon, like the river. Big, long, unstoppable. He wanted the company to feel like that. In 1995, the website launched, and early on, it was basic. No fancy design. No huge team. Just a small group grinding. He ran it out of a garage. Real garage. Not garage like a cute startup word. He literally worked in a garage with cheap desks. Some desks were made from doors because he didn't want to waste money on fancy furniture. And that mindset is important. He wasn't trying to look successful. He was trying to survive long enough to become successful. Orders started coming in. At first, it was exciting. Then it got intense, because every order meant work. Answering emails, packing boxes, calling suppliers, fixing mistakes, and doing it again the next day. Also, the business didn't make profit. It burned cash. A lot of it. This is where the story gets real. Because people love to talk about the win. They don't like talking about the years where you're basically stressed every day. Investors were watching. Some believed in the vision. Some were like, "Bro, when are you going to make money?" And he kept saying the same thing, basically. "We're building for the long term." That sounds nice, but it's hard to live like that when bills are real. Then, the late 90s internet boom happened. Tech companies were getting hyped up like crazy. Money was flowing. If you had a website, people acted like you were a genius. Amazon grew fast during that time. It went public in 1997. That means it became a publicly traded company, with investors expecting results. More attention also meant more pressure. Because now, if you mess up, everyone sees it. And critics get loud. People questioned everything. They said shipping books was too expensive. They said online shopping wasn't trustworthy. They said the whole thing was a bubble. And then, the bubble actually burst. Around 2000 and 2001, a ton of internet companies collapsed. It was ugly. Companies disappeared. Stocks dropped. Confidence disappeared overnight. Amazon survived, but it wasn't smooth. There were layoffs. There was fear. There were moments where people genuinely thought it could fail. If you want the lost everything feeling, this is it. Not because he was literally broke on the street, but because the whole dream could have ended. The money could dry up. Investors could walk away. The company could crash. And when a company crashes, your identity crashes too. Especially if you bet your whole life on it. The wild part is, he didn't panic into becoming safe. He doubled down on trust. He focused on the customer experience. That's not a corporate phrase here. It's simple. He wanted people to feel, "I can buy here, and I won't get played." So he pushed for clear prices, fair policies, and returns that weren't a nightmare. He wanted delivery to be reliable, even when it cost money. In the short term, that looked like slowing down profit. But in the long term, it built loyalty. And loyalty is like compound interest. It stacks quietly, then suddenly you feel it. Around this time, Amazon also started expanding beyond books. Music, movies, electronics, more categories, more warehouses, more logistics. That expansion was risky too, because when you add more products, you add more problems. Different suppliers, different shipping needs, more customer support, more chances to mess up. Some ideas flopped. That's normal. But instead of quitting, they adjusted. One huge moment people forget is this. Amazon didn't really post its first profitable quarter until late 2001. That's years after it started. Years of building, while hearing people say it would never work. Imagine hearing it won't work for years. Then finally, you prove it can. But he didn't stop there. He kept pushing into new areas. A big one was Prime. They launched Amazon Prime in 2005, and it changed shopping habits. It made people think, "I already pay for this, so I might as well order here." That's not hype, that's behavior. People like convenience. People like feeling taken care of. Another huge move was the Kindle, launched in 2007. It made digital reading mainstream for a lot of people. Books, again, still mattered. But the biggest long-term shift? Cloud computing. Amazon built a system to run its own website at scale. Then they realized other companies needed the same kind of system, so they turned it into a product. That became Amazon Web Services, or AWS, launched in 2005. And AWS became a major engine of the business. This is where it stops being just a store. It becomes infrastructure, stuff companies rely on behind the scenes. And that's a crazy thought. The company that started by shipping books from a garage ended up powering huge parts of the internet. Now, let's bring it back to the human side. Because if you're listening to this for English, you're also listening for meaning. The lesson isn't quit your job tomorrow. That's not the point. The point is how he handled uncertainty. He didn't try to look fearless. He just moved anyway. He didn't need perfect confidence. He needed commitment. He also didn't chase quick wins. He kept choosing moves that built trust, even when it was slower. That's hard, because everyone around you wants fast results. In New York, people love speed. Fast money, fast progress, fast everything. But the truth is, the biggest wins usually take time. And the English here is the same. Fluency doesn't happen in 1 week. It stacks. 1 sentence at a time. 1 clean repetition at a time. So when you shadow this, don't rush it. Say it clearly. Let the rhythm land. Notice how ideas connect and how the tone stays calm. Because the goal isn't to sound fancy. The goal is to sound real. And this story, if you really listen to it, is about staying real under pressure, building slowly when nobody claps, keeping your head when people doubt you, and not letting comfort trap you into a life you don't actually want. That's why this story hits. It's not a fairy tale. It's a long game. One of the famous little details from the early days is the order bell. Every time someone placed an order, a bell would ring in the office. At first, it was fun. It was like, yo, someone out there actually bought a book from us. But once orders picked up, the bell started ringing nonstop. And the vibe changed from excitement to, okay, we need a real system. That's how growth feels sometimes. The thing you prayed for becomes the thing that overwhelms you. And he had to make decisions that weren't popular. He invested in warehouses when it was expensive. He spent money on shipping speed when people told him to cut costs. He kept reinvesting instead of taking a quick victory lap. Also, he wasn't trying to be everyone's friend. He was obsessed with the mission. Some people loved that. Some people hated that. Both can be true. When the dot-com crash happened, a lot of companies tried to sound confident. He focused on staying alive. He cut what needed cutting, kept what mattered, and stayed focused on customers. That's a very New York kind of mindset, too. Like, you don't complain all day. You adjust, you move, you keep it pushing. So if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, but I'm not building $1 billion company. Cool. You don't need to. Steal the mindset. Stay consistent. Build trust. Play the long game. And speak your English like you mean it, not like you're scared of mistakes. Now listen again. Repeat the sentences. Keep your pace steady. And remember, the people who win long-term aren't always the smartest. They're often just the ones who keep going, even when it's uncomfortable.